Good morning, everyone. I'm going to answer the second question today. What books should I be reading if I want to improve my English? I uploaded the um, first question about a week ago. The second question is this. They are kind of interconnected. So please have a look at the first if you're starting here. And in my SInhala one, I started by saying it's very natural that I get asked this question because I'm an English teacher. And teachers are those people who you think know answers to questions like this, right? But what I want to say is, we might know what you should read if you're doing, for example, an English literature degree or something connected to a discipline. But language learning is not connected to any discipline as such. It's a matter of use, right? So that if you learn it, you should be able to read anything in any discipline, any subject. So the answer to this is that I believe in is that you should read what you like. Simply that, read what you like. Because something that appeals to me, the crucial word is appeal. If you like it, if it appeals to you, the chances of you finishing that book and starting another one like that is so much greater, right? So the idea is to give you practice in reading, and you will practice reading through reading alone, and you will read more if you like what you read. So that's the logic behind it. The logic behind it is that you should read what makes you read, and that would be things you like. So there are different genres of literature, right? I mean, there's non-fiction as well. But if I start with literature, I can say there are detective novels, there are romance novels, there are ghost stories, there are thrillers, there are spy stories. So anything that catches your interest, anything that makes you turn the page is what you should be looking for, what you should be finding to make you practice reading. Now, of course, this has an attendant problem. For example, if you're in a village or if you don't have access to books, how do we get our hands on them? You would be extremely lucky if you have a library. Please check around your areas what libraries are available. In Colombo, we have a very good public library. There's a British Council, though it's a bit expensive. So there are like free public libraries in every village. I'm not sure how well stocked they are right now of English books. But if you have any say in the matter, go and ask them. Where is the English section? What books do you have? And because our library system is very strong, and I know it's strong because I was recently invited to give a speech at at the librarians conference, and I know the system is very strong. I don't know what kind of books are available. Find out, make an appeal to have English books there, and maybe you can move forward in that way. Also, what else you can do is that you can probably know, if you know how to use the internet, you can probably go through the internet and learn to find the stuff that you're interested in. For example, if you type on the internet, like I personally love detective stories. Whenever my head is too heavy by the stuff I read, I tend to take a detective novel and read because it relaxes me, right? But if you type detective stories on Google, they'll have something. There's something called flash fiction, 1,000 words, less than 1,000 words for a short story. Those are things that you can do, right? The internet is the savior for those of us who may not have access to books, access to libraries, right? If you can afford books, now it's becoming prohibitive, the prices. I know I have gone to shops and things that were affordable before are not affordable now. So if you now can't afford books, trust the internet, just type the genre that interests you. You might get free stuff coming. Of course, you'll have to pay for the internet, but there are so many texts available. on the internet, right? So my advice is read what you like. If you listen to the lectures or the interviews by Professor Amarkirti Liyanagi or Kaushalya Kumarasinghe, they said, we read what we liked and thereby we learned English. Some people actually read literary theory, some of the hardest genres, because the subject interests them. And they read it in Sinhala and then try to come into English and then learn further through that. So it's a process. You need to practice. This is what I said last time. You need to practice. You have to keep at it. You have to keep working at it to make sure that you get the practice needed to go further in your level of English. Second thing I want to tell you. Now, first thing was read what you like. Second thing, it's a very difficult question to answer for me when people ask me, because for me to tell what books would benefit you most, I have to know so much about who you are, how old you are, what sex you are, what social standing you have. For example, can you afford to buy books or can't you? What level of English you need to know, what the subjects areas of interest you have. So when somebody asks me what book should I read, I tend not to answer, especially when I get messages on FB, because it's not a simple thing to answer without knowing who you are. So if I have one-to-one classes and I know my student, I could probably recommend some books to him because I would know what kind of person this is. But if I don't, I tend not to answer because I can't answer without knowing who you are. And that's a process. So that's the second thing I want to tell you. But my first advice, read what you like, applies across the board to anyone. Okay. Third thing I want to answer, and this was again asked quite recently, I have trouble reading academic writing. Quite understandable, because when it comes to academic writing in English, that's a different level of language. And I told this last time also, I found it very difficult to handle some of the articles I had to read for my PhD, which subsequently became quite easy afterwards, because I practiced 5 years of reading that stuff. So if you're going to need to learn, and if your English is quite good generally and you want to go into academic reading, then the question arises, how do I practice, right? Because academic journals are harder to come by than ordinary text. And here, if you're lucky enough to be within an institution like the university, universities normally are members of or subscribers of the web portal called WebJestor, JSTOR. Like University of Sheep Javadanapura, for example, the lecturers there has access to this Jester site, which has so many articles that I would want to refer to. And then there are particular websites for medicine, for science, it's divided. This is what I very often use. The problem with this is very expensive. To have access to this, it is expensive. So if you're if you're not in a university or an educational institute that has paid for it, you might have trouble accessing. This is the time to actually go and find friends who are in the campus, or you have friends in the campus who can help you with this kind of knowledge. Some articles, some books even have open access. Open access means anyone can use it. And I realized recently, if I want my book, for example, to be open access, I have to pay a lot to the publisher so that he doesn't lose on me wanting it to be open access. So these are the politics of publication, but some writers have their books open access, which means anyone can actually on the internet read them. Open access books, open access articles, ingested open access ones are mentioned. Now, my Atramadhyava channel, my in-between space channel, tries to speak to those who are not in institutionalized frameworks. My point is, if you want to study, you can study anywhere, even if you're not in university. And in fact, in the university, you may not be studying at all. So those who want to study are common to me, whether they are in or out of the university. But one thing that you can try is this You know what Google means. In Google, when you type any name of an article, if it's open access, it will come. But if you type Google Scholar, they tend to be more academic oriented. Just like Google Scholar is a site. When you type anything on that, they tend to get the more academic articles first to you, right? And that's free. So you can type that because you need to practice a reading in a particular genre. It's a long process. You might feel tired. You might think, I'm never going to learn this. But take it from someone, example me, who thought I'm never going to actually enjoy reading this stuff. I'm never going to understand it. This is the way I thought. When in fact, without me knowing, I began to understand this simply because I had practiced reading for a few years. So that work has to go in. That focus has to go in, right? So practicing the academic reading is the only way you can get used to reading academic stuff. Please use a dictionary. In my first lecture, I spoke about the phone. I use the phone quite a lot to get the meaning. But like Ms. Nagasundaram said last time, a dictionary has the profit of showing you how words are actually used in sentences, pronunciation, everything. Of course, that also you can find in the phone. But if you can have a good dictionary near you, please have it. So to the gentleman who asked me, how do I practice reading scholarly work, my advice, how do I read scholarly work or get used to reading scholarly work? Keep practicing, even though you do not understand it at the beginning. You've got to keep practicing, right? So that's the first thing I want. I think I said about 3 things. And basically, try to find the books. If you cannot have real books, like it's such a good feeling to open a book, but if you don't have it, internet is now making it possible for us to access most things online. Find a library, follow one rule, follow what you like to read. The test of you having chosen well is that you want to turn the page. Whether some people think, oh, these are not good stuff to read, right? These are not worth reading. Don't let that affect you. Because anyway, there's a discussion on what is good literature, what is pop culture, those discussions which I won't go into here, those are raging in some areas. No one has a right to say what is good literature. And post-colonial people say normally what is good is considered to be good by white, male, probably dead people by now. So, these discussions are going on. But as an English teacher, let me tell you, read what you like. If you keep on reading, you will become a better reader. Thereby, you'll improve your vocabulary. Grammar will get into your system before you even learn a rule. Naturally, when you read it, you'll know, okay, this doesn't sound correct. So you'll probably write better if you read. If you want to be good in your writing, even your spelling, please read. Because your mind, your eye, will make your brain get used to this. So you'll be getting a warning signal if something looks wrong. Your spelling will improve, your vocabulary will improve, your grammar will improve, and generally your knowledge will go up. So this is my second lecture. How should I, what should I read? My third one will be telling parents how to get their children used to reading. So there are other things I will talk in that. But for now, the rule of the thumb that I believe is useful is, please find what you like, no matter who considers it not too good, and read. Just make sure the English is all right. Normally what goes on in the internet has normal kind of good English. I love detective stories. I have read, I think, almost all the Agatha Christie books. And with that kind of attitude, you'll be reading and you'll be improving your language. Thank you very much.